How bad is Chris D'Elia's new special? By the way, I can't find the video, man. I think I deleted it off my channel. I think I got a copyright strike, or I think I got like a takedown notice from fucking one of Chris D'Elia's management back in the day when my channel was demonetized. So I think I might have taken it down in a panic because I can't find it. I'm sure I did a stream and a review of this special, but it doesn't matter really because it was fucking terrible. But I'm sure I did it. I'm sure I did like a live stream where I watched it with you guys. But I can't seem to find it anywhere in my archive. I might have it downloaded somewhere on a hard drive, but if I do find it, I'll probably upload it on my Patreon so you can watch it and check it out for free. But Chris D'Elia special that he put out last year, or what, I don't know what it was. He basically made an edited version of it to 40 minutes. I think the original version is like an hour plus, and he put it on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know why, but I guess maybe to get more numbers on it, metrics, maybe, I don't know. I don't know why, but regardless, American Reader did a video about it. It says, how bad is Chris D'Elia's new special? There's a title, links in the URL if you want to check out yourself. Big up American Reader.
No, and here's the other thing. I know how I fucked up. I know. I'm me. I'm the one that knows what I did and what I didn't do. I'm at home with my family. I see the heartbreak on my wife's face. The shit that we have to deal with. And then she gets bullied online. I have to deal with that shit. Me.
Chris D'Elia is back and creepier than ever in his latest comedy special, Grow or Die, which comes a whopping 5 whole years after he was accused of preying on dozens of women.
It's been 5 years. It's been 5 years. Wow, time has gone by in a flash, hasn't it? It's been 5 years. Shit.
Some of whom were allegedly underage teenage girls. And if you guys don't remember by now, Chris D'Elia was pretty much the only comedian who was truly canceled during that wave of cancel culture in 2020. Like, this man was on the brink of breaking into the movie world and actually becoming the action star that he'd always dreamed of. But as soon as the allegations surfaced, the entire entertainment industry dropped him. Like, even though he denied everything immediately, the damage had already been done. I mean, even his dearest comedian friends distanced themselves from him.
How would you feel if a 37-year-old man was texting your daughter?
Honestly, Bert, man. Bert, disgusting. Bert, disgusting. Going on Vlad talking about Chris D'Elia. Disgusting. Like, who would have enemies with friends like Bert and stuff, innit? I'm sorry, but if that's your friend, you keep quiet, man. You don't talk to the press or the media about that. You distance yourself from them professionally, but you don't need to kick them while they're down like this. You don't need to go on Vlad discussing one of your old colleagues, comedian friends' downfall. That's some disgusting shit, man. Just keep quiet and keep it moving. It's not that deep. But of course, Bert loves the attention. Fucking no.
And that's immediately, I was just like, all right, that's pretty fucked up.
So just keep all that in mind while we go through.
By the way, I love how somebody had to explain to Bert that way. He didn't understand it was bad until somebody told him, how about if a 37-year-old spoke to your daughters like that? Like, how would you feel? Like people who are unable to understand how something bad something is unless it happens to somebody they love, yeah, you are developmentally challenged.
This special Grow or Die, because as you'll see shortly, Chris D'Elia has a very twisted and manipulative mind, and for him this special is nothing but his final chance to tell the world that he's a changed man.
I got canceled. Listen, it wasn't what you read, okay? There's a lot of crazy things out there being said about me that just wasn't true, but that doesn't mean that I didn't make mistakes, okay? I made mistakes.
I mean, towards the end, he pretty much just stops telling jokes and proceeds to trauma dump on the entire crowd in a teary outburst.
It's my fault that my dad is getting older, you know?
But before we get into that, if we're looking at Grow or Die strictly...
Yo, Chris is so horny, he made his dad age. Chris is the true victim here. None of the hundreds of victims, right? Alleged victims. Chris is the true victim. Feel sorry for Chris D'Elia.
From a comedic perspective, then I think it's safe to say that this is quite possibly his worst special that he's ever released to the public. It's even worse than the special where he talked about dolphins having sex with people. No pain.
Hey, dolphins fuck people. That's a real thing. That's a real thing, Dad.
I'm sorry, but that is a funny line, isn't it? To having a special that you prepared, a special on Netflix. That's one of your lines.
About dolphins having sex with people, no pain.
Hey, dolphins fuck people. That's a real thing. That's a real thing that I didn't make up. Dolphins fuck people. Dolphins fuck people.
Most of the jokes in Grow or Die were completely recycled from his first two Netflix specials, Incorrigible and Man on Fire, with the worst one being a bit he did in Man on Fire, where he claimed that little girls are always touching their private parts from the back, which is completely revolting given the context of his allegations.
Dad, excuse me, can I talk to you for a second? Hey, Dad, why do little girls grab their pussies from behind like that?
Whoa. Whoa. Why do little what?
Excuse me, can I talk to you for a second? Hey, Dad, why do little girls grab their pussies from behind like that? That's
Hey, yo.
so weird. Don't go weird like I made them do it. That was Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, that made them do that, okay?
But being that one of his allegations involved luring a girl in high school back to his hotel room, it'd be completely inappropriate for Chris to use this joke again, right? So in Grow or Die, instead of a little girl doing this, it's his son, which is somehow even creepier.
And by the way, this is how he asked me. He walked up to me, and this is how he walked up to me. He walks up to me like this. This is what he did, okay? I know, but he was holding his asshole. But that's how he walked up to me and holding his asshole. And by the way, super casual about it, which is insane.
So yeah, just basing this special off
Shocking.
jokes alone, it was pretty hacky. And also pretty disturbing. Like, he has this one bit about his son growing up to become a serial killer, and the punchline is kind of like him projecting his deepest feelings about the woman who made allegations against him in the early part of this decade.
I gotta watch a 4-part docuseries on my son. I was eating a muffin, and my mom told me that it comes out of my peanut. The muffins come out of my penis, and then I took it as gospel, you know? And then I didn't even know that was wrong until I was a teen, and that's when I started killing women because they lie, you know? But that's how that happens.
And then there's the repetition.
Yeah, I don't find that funny in the slightest, bro. That's kind of wild. But the real truth comes out on stage. The real truth comes out when you're drunk, high, or on stage.
Chris has always been one to lean into absurd repetition for comedic effect, but in this special, it just goes completely off the rails. Like in one bit, he repeats a single word 30, maybe even 50 times in a row, and it almost feels like you're watching someone slowly lose their grip on reality.
Like, this is how it happens every time. I'm like, Ma, we gotta go. And this is what she does. She goes like this. Okay, wait, Christopher, wait. Okay, wait, Christopher, wait. Christopher, wait. Christopher, okay, I see. Christopher, wait. Christopher, wait.
These type of jokes that are funny at your Christmas dinner or like a family gathering, right? Because you get the reference, because maybe his mum does actually sound like that. But these are like, you know, family jokes. These aren't jokes that you tell on stage, you know. They don't bang the same way. I'm sure amongst his family and friends and neighbors, this absolutely kills. But on stage, in front of people that don't know who your mum is, or what she sounds like, or anything about your mum, not gonna land the same way.
Wait. And by the way, we're still near the couch. Like, we're not even outside. Christopher, wait. Christopher, wait. I'm looking at her and I'm like, baby, what the fuck are we gonna do?
Like, at this point, this is just a mental breakdown, and not a particularly entertaining one. And then things got really creepy, because as Chris sat down on the stool, he suddenly became very tense and serious. And then he proceeded to break down in tears, talking about his journey through therapy and how his choices affected his family. And it goes on for so long that you almost forget that this is a comedy show.
You know, and here's the other thing. I know how I fucked up. I know. I'm me. I'm the one that knows what I did and what I didn't do. Me. I'm me. I'm at home with my family. I see the heartbreak on my wife's face.
No, but you don't know though, do you? That's how you got caught. If you knew, you wouldn't have done it in the first place. What? I know. No, you didn't. You didn't know until somebody said, hey, that's bad. I knew. No, you didn't.
The shit that we have to deal with. And then she gets bullied online. I see that shit. I see my dad's face and how he aged 10 years in 2 years because of the stress, the situation in my family that I put myself in these situations.
So Chris D'Elia's aging has affected his dad too. It's kind of like the only person who hasn't been affected by the cancellations with Chris D'Elia's brother. The hipster brother Chris D'Elia has with a dangly earring. He seems to be perfectly fine. He seems to be A-okay. He hasn't seemed to be he hasn't aged anymore. He seems to be really in good spirits. Every time I've seen the clip of them two together on a pod, he's giggling, laughing, having a great time. He isn't bothered in the slightest about Chris D'Elia's allegations, but I guess the dad took it on his shoulder. Because you can imagine if you're Chris D'Elia's dad, right? He worked as a director, whatever he did, right, in Hollywood. You've busted your ass for years. You've got your good name.
Powerful bunch.
A. Martinez.
Dude is so creepy. People who are still fans creeps.
That's the thing. Like, I don't judge. I don't judge a lot of fans because I feel like, yeah, I don't really judge fans in general, but I do judge Chris D'Elia fans. I don't judge fans, but I do, like, given everything you know, given all the information that's been put out there, and again, you don't have to believe every account. You don't have to believe every account, but to not look at him differently since the allegations and to be okay, we're going to a show, that's a bit sus. You don't have to believe every single account. You don't have to believe every single allegation. But to not look at him differently, that's a bit weird. That's a little bit mad. To still be like a hardcore fan of this guy and go watch his shows and shit. Because that just means what? You just don't believe what they said. You believe it was all some sort of like deep state organized takedown or something. Is that what you think it was? Chris D'Elia was getting too close to the truth or something and they had to take him down, so they invented all these fucking allegations, pinned him on him to kind of ruin and sully his name. I don't know, man. I don't know. So I'm sure some Chris D'Elia fans, probably like most fans, just don't really have a good explanation for it. It's just more so because, hey, I've been listening to him for ages. He's part of my content, you know, weekly content consumption. Because I've said that before. I think a lot of these guys get away with some of these crimes because fans just, you know, there's not a lot of good shit to check out these days online. If you're used to Chris D'Elia's comedy, you like what he said, you like how he says it, it's better just to stick with him, you know, than to try and find somebody new. Just turn a blind eye to some of the nonsense to keep it moving. I get why some people do it. I personally wouldn't, because it's, you know, I think part of the reason why Chris D'Elia also got cancelled is because, you know, it kind of, I don't know, before the allegations, yes, people said, like, yes, you heard a lot of comedians talk about how good looking he was, or the fact that, you know, because you never really heard Chris talk about girls that much, if anything. You heard of more other stand-up comedians talk about, oh my God, I was at the Laugh Factory and there was a ton of girls on the show, then I realized Chris D'Elia was on the bill. But you never really heard Chris speak in graphic detail or in any detail about women. So when those stories came out, it really fucked him because he had for lack of a better term, he had a bit of a squeaky clean image. So it made him look extra monstery when you hear of all the things he's been accused of. So for the fans to just sit there and turn a blind eye to it, it's like, oh, doesn't make you look good. But hey, I guess fans are going to be fans.
And that's why my dad's stressed out. I have to deal with that shit. Me.
Okay.
You know, I talk a lot about fear, and that's something that I am fearful of. Is I feel like because of the situations that I put myself in and my addiction, that it's my fault that my dad is getting older, you know, because he couldn't deal with the stress.
People talk like this a lot, right? And he's kind of dog whistling stuff that we know about, right? He's kind of dog whistling shit that we can think of and read between the lines. But come on. If you really feel that way, you know what you need to do. But they don't ever do it, you know? So people are full of shit. They're always full of shit. It's just like crocodile tear stuff. Like, you're talking in this way, which is kind of giving us the impression that you feel so bad you might X, Y, Z. but they never X, Y, and Z. You know, this motherfucker's gonna be here forever and ever. You know, like,
And you know what? It's sad.
But before you feel bad for Chris, guys, just remember that he's only sad because he got caught. Like, to this day, this man would have been happily tormenting women if no one spoke up about it. Also, sure, you can applaud him for taking steps towards bettering himself, being a good father to his kids, and admitting his own fault in this special. But this whole sitting down on the stool thing and
happily tormenting woman. This guy's definitely Hispanic, isn't it? Huh? I just clocked that. It's like, what? That's definitely this guy's definitely Hispanic in American Redact.
Guys, just remember that he's only sad because he got caught. Like, to this day, this man would have been happily tormenting women if no one spoke up about it. Also, sure, you can applaud him for taking steps towards bettering himself, being a good
happily tormenting mujeres,
father to his kids, and admitting his own fault in this special. But this whole sitting down on the stool thing and tearing up should be pretty creepy to anybody familiar with the process of creating a stand-up comedy special. Like, basically for an entire year, a comedian at Chris D'Elia's skill level will go on tour and practice bits. And then what you see in their comedy special will be a sharpened version of the bits they were doing all year long. So him opening up to the crowd with tears in his eyes is just a little bit suspicious to me. Like, was he practicing this in every show he did prior to taping the special? I mean, if you're watching this right now and never went to one of his shows between 2022 and 23, do let me know in the comments if Chris did something similar to this. Because if he did, I just feel like it's pretty revealing as to just how manipulative this man really is. We also saw him do this same routine in that soft white underbelly interview he did a year ago, where he cries on cue and claims that woman lying destroyed his life. So I just feel like this is all an act. And this isn't just me who thinks this. I mean, it's not even my original thought. Like, Elephant Graveyard pointed this out in one of the excellent videos that he did over a year ago, titled The Abrams Method: How Celebrities Learn to Cry on Camera. So this choice to cry on stage during his first comedy special after being canceled is definitely an interesting one. So yeah, as you can see in this special, Chris D'Elia is truly a shell of his former self. Like that invincible, nonchalant, cult leader-like personality he had before the accusations doesn't quite work anymore. Unfortunately, whatever comes out of his lips now just makes me think of him as a creepy guy. And lastly, the whole crying on stage thing. I just think it's a pathetic attempt to garner sympathy from the few thousand devoted fans that uphold his career. Chris's main source of income.
I wouldn't be that malicious with it. To give him benefit of the doubt, he did go through a traumatic experience. Although he's trying to paint himself out to be the victim, he did go through a pretty hellish time. So I could imagine the tears that were on stage. That was a real moment, you know what I mean, of vulnerability and shit. It's just funny because he's trying to paint himself out to be the victim when he's actually the perpetrator. And no one should feel sorry for him at all because he got himself in the situation. But I believe that was a real moment. It's just he's just unwilling or unable to really cry because, you know, narcissist shit, innit? Do you know what I mean? But that would have actually helped a bit if he actually would have stopped and sobbed a little bit, you know? And really kind of had to collect his thoughts, or maybe had to go behind the fucking curtain and then you see a clip of his wife wiping his tears away and shit. That would have maybe helped to kind of sell it. You can't start like having your voice all shaky and talking about it down and looking glassy eyed, but no tears actually fall. Like, I don't think he even wiped a tear away. Like, that's a bit creepy. It's a bit weird, but I don't think it's not sincere. He's just probably finds it hard to display any genuine emotions because he's been such a hedonistic freak for so long.
Income comes from his year-round comedy tour, and he's extremely successful when it comes to selling out enormous theaters around the country and even the world for that matter. Like, he's still making millions of dollars per year. He's just sad that all the growth stopped and that he'll never be on the big screen ever again. Instead, he rots away on the 3 dwindling podcasts that he does weekly.
But isn't that weird though? Like, people are calling it rotting away. You see how weird life is? Like, essentially he got away with it. So he should be celebrating, really. He should be really happy that he got away with it and he's still making millions and he's still somewhat relatively successful. But it's looked at as a failure because of where he was heading to. You know, he was about to blow. He was on You He was about to do that action movie thing. He was training to be in more action movie things. He was talking about taking up serious non-comedic roles and working out a bunch. Remember, he was posting loads of videos of himself working in his garage, and he was getting super jacked at that time. Remember, he was taking it really seriously. So he must have hired a nutritionist. He had that show with Brian Callen that he was working on. That fucking I think it was like some sort of like prank show, game show thing or something he was doing, Callen. So his career was on the up and up. But if you think about it, all things considered, he's still doing really well for himself. Really fucking well. It's just that he's not maybe welcome in certain clubs, you know, in certain little pockets of a scene. But all in all, he's doing okay for himself. It's not really a failure.
One being his solo show, Congratulations. The other being the one he does with his brother Matt D'Elia, Lifeline. And last but not least, the one he does with Brendan Schaub and Eric Griffin, The Golden Hour. So yeah, pretty creepy stuff from the OG Diddler as per usual.
The OG
but anyways,
Diddler's hilarious.
that's pretty much it for the video, guys. If you made it this far, thank you so much.
Big up American Redact. Big up American Redact. One of my favorite channels out here when it comes to comedy commentary shit. Check out American Redact. Check out Blood Clot American Redact.